Do you know what it feels like to be strangled to death? First, you feel the pressure in your throat. Your eyes water. And you start to taste something very, very sour in your mouth. Then it's like someone lights a match right in the middle of your chest. And that fire grows. It fills your lungs and your throat. And all the way behind your eyes. And then finally, that fire turns to ice. Like pins and needles of ice are sticking into your fingers, your toes, your arms. You see stars, then darkness. And the last thing you feel is cold.
Unsolved.
Episode 211, Jonbenet Case, The Unfortunate Ramseys. Has it ever crossed your mind how unfortunate John and Patsy were? Putting aside the fact that their daughter was murdered inside their house while they were sleeping, look at all the unfortunate things that happened besides that make them look like they did it. That's what this episode is about. Well, I broke them down into 5 categories. Number 1, Jonbenet's body was left in their house. 2, no one found her body that morning. 3, no obvious sign of an intruder exiting their house. 4, the ransom note was so unusual. And 5, some other unfortunate happenings for them. So let's go over these 5 categories. First, Jonbenet's body was left in the house. This is unusual for a ransom, and it's so unfortunate for the Ramseys because it makes them look guilty. In number 1 here, the intruder wrapped her body in a white blanket. That makes it look like the person really cared for Jonbenet. 2, he left a pink Barbie nightgown with her. Again, making it look like the Ramseys are guilty. 3, he placed her body in the so-called wine cellar where she wouldn't be discovered. 4, there were signs that Jonbenet had been molested. And so that makes them look guilty also. The next unfortunate thing is, no one found her body that morning. The Boulder policeman didn't find her body. He went to that door, and I believe he pulled on the door, but the block of wood kept it from opening, and he figured that there was no entranceway into that room because of that block of wood, and so he moved on. And then Fleet White went down there. He opened the door, but he couldn't find the light switch, and so he didn't find Jonbenet down there. And no other person, John Fernie or any others, found Jonbenet. And then last 3, John and Patsy didn't find Jonbenet that morning because they just didn't look. And so how unfortunate that is that no one found her body, because if they did, then there would have been a crime scene and they would have taped off the house, and then they would have found the real killer of Jonbenet. Next, there was no obvious sign of an intruder exiting their house. 1. The intruder did not leave a window or door wide open on his way out. I don't know if your house has ever been burglarized, but normally you come home to a wide open front door or back door, or your windows busted out somewhere in your house. And then 2, if he did leave out that basement window, he returned the metal grating back over the window well. So when he left, he moved the grating aside, or it was already aside. He went out, and then, as a courtesy, he came back and put the grating over top of the window well. Next, the ransom note was so unusual. 1, the note was 2.5 pages long and took about 20 minutes to write. And so that makes it look like the Ramseys are guilty. And so that was very unfortunate for the Ramseys, for the person to do that. 2, it does not contain any foul language, this ransom note. So that's very odd and points to the Ramseys. 3, it was left on the back spiral staircase. And that makes it look like the Ramseys, because almost all the intruders wouldn't know that the Ramseys used that staircase that often. And 4, the writer used Patsy's notebook and her pen and put it right back where it belongs. And so that was very unfortunate for the Ramseys. And finally, some other unfortunate happenings for them. 1, the kidnapper did not call about the ransom. He could have called before 10 a.m., before the body was discovered, and attempted to collect the ransom. And if there was some inside person like Fleet White, they would have known that the body hadn't been found. And so the kidnapper could have called and tried to collect the ransom. 2, John's lawyer friend visited him that night. His lawyer happened to stop by the Fernie's house to see John only a few hours after they had found her dead body. So that was unfortunate, because it made it look like the Ramseys hired an attorney immediately after finding her body, her dead body. And generally that's not what parents would do. And so that was very unfortunate for the Ramseys. And then, probably one of the biggest unfortunate things, someone left a bowl of pineapple out with milk or cream inside the bowl and didn't put it away. And so that was very unfortunate, because it kind of hurts the Ramseys' story of Jonbenet being out, zonked, sound asleep when they got home that night. And so it's just so many things that are so unfortunate, and I probably forgot a few of them. So for all of us who think John or Patsy killed Jonbenet, please give us a break, because all these unfortunate things that happen to the Ramseys and make them look guilty also make them look guilty to us. And what else are we to think?
You have been watching a Nancy Drew show. Please consider subscribing to my channel.
Wow, this ends this episode of Unsolved. What an episode it was. And I'll see you tomorrow for the Zodiac Killer case. See ya.